Why don't you guys just start by telling me, how has life been for you? You've been on quite the roller coaster of late. What's going on now?
Well, it's really been from the past 3 years, starting, well, actually 20 years, but really intensely in the last 3 years when I did a musical, and I had some problems with the producer on that smear campaign that he orchestrated against me and my performance in this musical, and Actors Equity was brought in, and it was just turned into a whole fiasco. But really intensely for the last year, starting with these false arrests that started as a result in Santa Barbara, accusing us of horrible defrauding an innkeeper, and this was for a paid hotel bill, and it's escalated now to include property that we own in Santa Barbara, and we've owned it for 20 years and didn't know that we owned it. Turns out we never sold it. We thought we had sold it 20 years ago, but we just found out recently that we did indeed still own it. And so we went to look at the property because it's been abandoned for all this time. Nobody's really lived in it. And we went there to just protect ourselves in case there was any
liability.
Liability that was that we could be held accountable for. And we got there, and the place was just run down. Our old outdoor furniture was just like thrown into the bushes, and the place was a mess. The garden was dead, and so we just basically spent about 5 or 6 days revitalizing the garden and cleaning up, and that was when we were arrested this last time for they accused us of vandalism. And
yeah, the police say that you trashed the place, that you broke a mirror and hung a portrait of yourselves up, that you carved your initials in the mailbox, and it really wasn't your home. Were you in that home illegally, and did you trash it?
Let me answer that. Can I answer
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Okay, first of all, Santa Barbara County is horrifying. They're terrifying, they're corrupt, and they are truly out of control. And hopefully the Attorney General will be elected governor and will do what he did in Bell County and arrest all of them and wipe them out, because what they're doing, and this is sort of an amazing story, but when I learned a lot at immigration. When I was in one of the holding cells, I was with an Indian girl who had come from Sri Lanka, and she was missing her hand, and she had left war-torn Sri Lanka. And I said to her, first of all, why did she leave? And she said she couldn't take the bombardment of war anymore, and she was seeking political asylum. And she had left her boyfriend, her entire family, come here on a boat with 400 people. And I said to her, in your country, is it ever possible for a small corrupt faction of government to, in fact, steal the home and wealth of a wealthy person and then try and kill them? And she said, yes. And I thought to her, well, I'm in a horrible position, but you're in a truly horrible position, but there are people who are in much more horrible positions. But I believe that in Santa Barbara County, that's what's happening. Michael Jackson's home is somehow being donated to the county. What about his children? What about his family? This home, after we were arrested for defrauding an innkeeper for a paid hotel bill, I knew instantly that there was fraud, corruption, and we had to figure out why this was happening to us. So immediately, and that was torturous. That was a horrifying experience. I mean, we've never been arrested. We've never done anything wrong, and we were married at the San Ysidro Ranch. Why would we ever do that? The bill was paid. The hotel didn't want us arrested. Yet the sheriff who had us arrested was retired. The DA who had signed the document to have us arrested was retired and missing. Lee Carter wanted nothing to do with the case anymore. So all of a sudden, after having us fraudulently arrested, everybody disappeared. So I was intent on getting to the bottom of it.
Do you feel like people are out to get you, possibly even murder you?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely,
Who?
yes.
Okay, once you've been falsely arrested and had your they told us our FBI files were swapped in Santa Barbara County. Okay, that's horrifying. It's just horrifying. First of all, to be fraudulently arrested is terrifying. Who would be trying to kill us? An estate planner who had created a living trust and a county that could cash Randy's royalty stream forever
But why would they want to kill you?
so that they could take the money.
It's easier to take the money in that way. And I think this Ronald Quaid probate file is going to be, it's already the means by which they run checks, and it'd be so easy to cash checks through this dead person who doesn't really
Tell me about
exist
your
as far as
driver's
we
license.
can tell.
With all due respect, some people will watch this and think, what are they talking about? They're crazy. This is not possible. What would you say to those people?
I would say that before I was
Well,
told
when you're
by,
out on a-
by a
when you're-
government, wait a
when
minute,
you're-
by a government tax attorney, I just want to say that, by a government
Yeah.
tax attorney and a government investigator who does criminal investigation for the IRS, they told me, I said, you know, I was looking through the county records for things on the property and I saw this Ronald Quaid. It's really a weird coincidence. They said, go get the probate file. That happens all the time. I went straight up there and got the probate file, and there's no body, there's no dead person, there's no headstone, there's nothing to do with that person. There's just $7 million going through what's called bank accounts. I never knew what a probate file was. It's a manner to embezzle. That's all it is.
Has anyone threatened to kill you?
Not call me on the phone, but
That's
I mean,
not
when
true.
I get a
That's not
well,
true.
it's
Remember
when
the cell phone
when I
calls?
have
The cell phone
when I have people representing me, they get calls in the middle of the night saying, "Is Randy there?" And these are people that I'm doing business with, and they follow us. They tail us. They tag our cell phone. They hack our computer. We can't send email. We make a call, and right in the middle of the call, the whole system will shut down.
If you had to guess, who do you think is doing
Well,
that?
I think it's Alan Wattenmaker. I think it's
Repeat, say the estate plan.
the estate planner, and it's I think it's the estate planner, Alan Wattenmaker, and I think Lloyd Braun has something to do with this. And
Do you fear for your life, both of you?
I do. Well, you know what it is? It's not something that I'm afraid somebody's going to come up and shoot me or anything, but because of how the infrastructure of our life has been so decimated. I mean, it's been right down to the ground, okay? And we cannot function, okay? I cannot get a credit card. I cannot
Randy's the
open a
voice of a
bank
credit
account.
card.
And I was a voice of a major credit card.
For 5 years.
Which credit card?
Capital One.
I cannot.
For 5 years, until last year.
I can't go to a hotel. I can't
Tell them about
rent a
last
house.
night.
I can't
Tell them
buy
about
a
what
house.
happened last night.
Where
Last
are
night
you-
we tried. We went for
where-
3 hours trying to get a hotel room in this town. Nobody would take us in.
What's the lowest point you two have hit? Have you been forced at all to sleep in your car at any point?
No, we've chosen to, on occasion,
yeah.
out of fear that, in particular, when traveling, if for instance, so Randy was the voice of Capital One, right? At first, we had a theory, oh my God, this must just be competitor credit card companies wanting to utilize an internet spin of something negative, which happens to celebrities now.
You mean people were after you from the other credit card companies?
Well,
No, not
that's-
after us. No.
that's-
Okay, I'm
Competing,
sorry, I don't wanna-
Randy,
Well,
Randy,
that's a theory that you have.
Randy,
right?
competing advertising is all it is. It's standard. I mean, there are people who go out and compete in the advertising market.
So how-
An ad agency wants to take the business away from another ad agency. So
I just want to make sure I get this
yeah.
clear. So you're the voice of Capital One, and then you're saying some
Yeah,
of
I
the
was,
people that you were fearing were from the competing credit card companies? Did I
No,
get that right?
specifically, if Randy's the voice of Capital One for 5 years, eventually they're going to figure that out. Competing credit card companies, competitors in general, figure out their advertisers' weak link.
So what would they do then,
Well,
once they
for
figured that
instance,
out?
with Tiger Woods, right? So he had all of those car companies. Maybe a competing car company could utilize the negative publicity of Tiger Woods to defame the competing car company.
see.
So therefore, that was one of my theories as to why this was happening.
So
I don't
I think that
that.
that exists, but I disagree with Evi on that. I don't know if that
okay.
really applies.
But you're saying
to
that
me.
possibly the competition wanted to maybe smear your name.
Exactly. There you go. Perfect.